Russia has fired multiple missiles on an area near the western city of Lviv in its closest strike to the European border since Putin's forces invaded Ukraine. It's a troubling development in a region that's been a safe haven for so many. Amelia Adams joins us now from Lviv, where residents woke to the sound of explosions. Amelia, just describe the feeling there on the ground now.
Look, it's all calm here now, Georgie, but it has really been an anxious morning. Air raid sirens woke us before dawn, warning of what turned out to be Russian airstrikes on a military training base, Ukraine's International Centre for Peace and Security. It's about 50 kilometres west of here, and Lviv officials have told us the Russians launched 8 missiles. We're still waiting for confirmation on any casualties or injuries, but it is a serious escalation. The base is only about 20 kilometres from the Polish border, and it's previously hosted NATO forces. It's really shifted the sense here that Western Ukraine is relatively safe. It's pretty clear nothing is off the table for Putin's forces as they continue to bombard their way towards the nation's capital.
Russian cruise missiles make their mark, hitting an oil and ammunition depot south of Kyiv. Ukraine's capital on day 17 under attack. Putin's ground forces now around 20 kilometres from the city centre, according to British intelligence, and they're ambushing families trying to flee. 14-year-old Katerina is recovering from a bullet wound. We were driving home from my grandmother's house and they started shooting at us, she says. Kyiv's outer suburbs now streaked with trench networks, ready for a ground assault.
We have enough anti-tank missiles. Thanks for our allies. They will lose tanks every street, every block, every crossroads.
But no one, it seems, can help the people of Mariupol. The southern city of 400,000 under siege for 12 days. 1,500 Ukrainians have died here since the war began. The eastern town of Volvanaka, once home to 21,000 people. Now its local governor says it no longer exists. So much of its infrastructure was wiped out in the invasion. Russia now taking aim at elected officials. This CCTV footage, Ukraine claims, shows the mayor of Melitopol, Ivan Fedorov, blindfolded and abducted by Putin's soldiers before they installed a new leader, who asked residents to adjust to the new reality and not to take part in extremist actions, instructions they ignored. The southeastern city near Crimea was one of the first to fall to the Russians, but the Ukrainians within its walls are still rising up, pleading for their mayor to be released. A demand echoed by the president. Volodymyr Zelensky says the invaders are strangers to our land and will never be accepted. Leaders from France and Germany calling Vladimir Putin, urging a ceasefire. But French officials say the Russian president doesn't appear ready to end the war.
Putin is not just a person, it's a system. And Russia must be de-Putinized.
A sign of the times. This woman arrested in Russia's west for protesting with a blank sign. The White House has approved another $270 million worth of arms and equipment for Ukraine, as Moscow warned weapon deliveries to the war zone will be targeted.
The ocean that separates us will not leave us untouched by this aggression.
Anti-tank weapons supplied by the West on show in the capital. Local recruits are getting a last-minute lesson. Right across the country, the Ukrainian resistance is extraordinary and surreal. This old movie cinema in Lviv transformed into a training centre for mums and dads learning to use assault rifles.
I want to learn myself how to protect if our son and husband went on a front line.
Not scared?
Ukrainian women don't scare.
Andriy usually manages the film schedule and ticket sales.
Потім був на Революції Гідності в 2014 році.
He says the community has rallied and will be prepared for whatever comes, showing photos of his young sons already learning how to use a gun.
He wants to defend Ukraine.
It's one thing to learn how to use an assault rifle in a controlled environment like this. It's quite another to take it into an active war zone. It just goes to show the sheer determination of these locals to bolster Ukraine's defences and win this war.
Their resolve is admirable, but it's hard not to wonder if this can prepare them for what awaits. A war they didn't want, but won't run from.
We don't want to fight, we don't want to kill, we just want to protect.
In Lviv, Ukraine, Amelia Adams, 9 News.